Great. So again, thank you for joining. This webinar is hosted by Fab City on behalf of GreenInCities, and we're lucky enough to have everybody from our Urban Greening and Renaturing cluster today with us. I will explain in the next couple of slides and you'll hear from all of them. And the topic today is Tech for All, so driving inclusivity in nature-based solutions to improve societal readiness levels. I will be your host today. I'm Lars. I'm the network lead at Fab City, and I'm also the project manager for our GreenInCities project. So our role with Fab City is to support with sharing ideas, knowledge, potential collaborations, and utilize the existing connections and resources that we have with our Fab City global network. And GreenInCities aims to transform urban spaces through nature-based solutions, and in particular with technological applications, valuing both human and non-human needs. So that's a brief introduction, so you know who I am. And like I said, we have our Urban Greening and Renaturing cluster here today. We also have Tecnológico de Monterrey from our Fab City network. So you'll be hearing from all of these different organizations this afternoon. And here is our running order. So there is going to be an introduction on inclusivity and societal readiness levels from Urbana, who is a GreenInCities partner. Then we're going to jump into the digital tools showcase. So this is going to be one from each of our sister projects. And then we get to go into themed breakout rooms. This is a real opportunity for you to really share your ideas. There's no wrong answers. Please take part in our activities that we have. They're designed to create new ideas and bring lots of diverse people together. So we have Josefina, Fran, and Marce, all representatives from Fab City in the breakout room to help with any questions that you might have. And we have the experts from the cluster and from our talk today, who are each going to be in themed breakout rooms. And then we will have a recap and a sharing. So if that sounds good, I will pass over to Evelina from Urbana. They're working to make cities more inclusive, with participatory shaped by feminist values. So over to Evelina. Let me know when to click the next slide.
Thank you, Lars. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for inviting us here today. So yeah, basically just a few words about Urbana. We are an interdisciplinary urban research and design team founded in Athens in 2019, and we are basically architects and planners, social scientists and educators working together, as Lars said, for the right of all for more inclusive cities and urban environments. Lars, if you would like to go to the next slide, please. Perfect. So yeah, this is a big pact, I understand, and apologies for all these bullet points, but I thought that I should speak about what inclusivity means to us, to Urbana. So basically in three main points, for us, inclusivity means equal participation for all, which means that we work on actively engaging historically underrepresented social groups, such as women, older adults, people with migrant backgrounds, and so caregivers, people whose needs and experiences have not been included in urban planning processes and decision-making processes. So basically, we work on how to shift the decision-making power towards those who are most often excluded and who experience vulnerabilities in their everyday lives. Also, it means to work on having meaningful and inclusive participatory processes. That for us means that all urban planning processes have to emerge from participation and not merely be validated by it. And that is crucial for us because it's the only way to somehow reflect all these diverse lived experiences and forms of knowledge within urban planning. And finally, for Urbana, for our team, the gender perspective is very crucial. We integrate gender perspective lens in urban planning and in all co-creation processes and everything we do. And because somehow we still recognize that the unequal care work shapes women's mobility pattern and also women's access to the city. And so we think that it is crucial to center the everyday experiences of women and gender minorities in urban planning processes. So when we have to speak today for an example of inclusion that we've been working the past few years. Of course, here we will be speaking about the GreenInCities project, the Horizon Europe project. And first of all, as Lars said before, GreenInCities is a project that the whole methodology of the project is based in co-creation. And that means that goes through all the phases of the projects, from co-analysis to co-design to implementation and co-monitoring. And what we did there that has to do with inclusion, the first thing we produced more horizontally in the project was the inclusion plan, with which we tried to create some inclusive and gender sensitive guidelines for all project partners, so they could actually see how they can introduce these guidelines to their co-creation processes, but also to their greening interventions for the project. And then also in our as technical partners in Athens, we also helped the municipality of Athens to apply inclusive co-creation in their co-creation processes. We worked and we tried to prioritize social groups who were experiencing vulnerabilities, like children. We worked also with the local community, but more focusing on in older adults and caregivers. And we try to center their diverse lived experiences and bring their voices into the decision-making process. And I think that, at least if I can sum it up, I think that this was a very interesting example of how inclusivity could shape the project and the pilot that we were working in Athens. But in general, in the whole project, I think that the co-creation methodology that was implemented was very crucial, and that in every pilot city within the project, you could see that inclusivity could say how inclusivity shaped their final outcomes and their intervention plans. And when it comes to the main challenges, I think that I could only speak now for at least our case in Athens. And I think that one of the main challenges when it comes to inclusivity and participation would be that these processes are not yet institutionally embedded, at least in Greece. So it's very, very hard to keep participation and sustain participation beyond the project implementation. And this is something that we are working very hard to see if we can resolve this. But I think it's really worth mentioning how these processes can go beyond implementation and not just stay project-based. And yeah, maybe we can move to the next slide, Lars. Super, thank you. So yeah, when it comes to the societal readiness level, then a few points that could be mentioned here is that societal readiness levels basically indicate how well research and innovation respond to the diverse societal needs. It somehow has to align innovation with societal goals through inclusive and multi-stakeholder engagement. And it also it has to center the values, expectations, and lived realities of different social groups. And I think that what is very crucial is to somehow find the way to move beyond technical performance, more beyond the technical parts of a project, and see how the solutions can be meaningful to the community and how the community can trust the solutions. So if we can think of a few questions of how to test that we're bringing a societal readiness within our projects, I thought that, yeah, I created these bullet points that maybe everyone could ask themselves when they are in project to see if they're bringing societal readiness. And one could be, are we embedding inclusion throughout the project or treating it as a mere add-on? Whose lived experiences are shaping our approach and who is still missing? And this goes back to multi-stakeholder engagement and inclusive outreach. So this is something very, very important to see and engage the social groups that are experiencing vulnerabilities. Are underrepresented groups engaged equally early on in the process and continuously throughout the process? Then our co-creation process is accessible, respectful, and genuinely reciprocal. So not only what we are getting from the participants that they are coming to our co-creation processes, but also what we are giving back to them. And we need to be very respectful also of their times and of their different cultures. So we really need to take into account the different backgrounds of all these diverse social groups and be respectful of those when we are having our creation processes. Then are we anticipating impacts and adapting the project based on societal feedback? And again, this concept of constantly adapting the project is really crucial, because when you are having society, when you're implementing societal readiness in a project, you always need to check through multiple cycles of co-evaluation if something is not going right. And then it would be amazing, and it would be very beneficial for the project to take this feedback from the society and from the local community and feed it back to the project. And then the last question that I think is crucial is, how are social perspectives shaping the technical design? So it goes back to how we can move beyond the technical parts of the project and actually see if it's possible how societal impact can actually shape the technical parts of our project. Yeah, I think that
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Evelina.
that's it.
Thank you. I really wanted everybody in the room to have an understanding in general of societal readiness level and inclusion, and you'll have an opportunity in the breakout rooms as well to have Evelina in the inhabitants team breakout room, so you can have some more time to talk and ideate together there. So thank you so much. We now have our digital tools. This is like a kind of rapid fire. We're aiming for 3 minutes per sister project, just to showcase one digital tool and how it relates to inclusion. And then after this, we have the opportunity to go into our breakout rooms. So I'm going to hand over first. I think it is KTU. Yeah, let me just minimize this. Okay, Lena, are you ready to take it away?
Yeah, hi everyone. Nice to see you here. So, our aim is to transform urban spaces through nature-based solutions and technological applications. So, from KTU side, basically, we are representing the digital part of the GreenInCities project, and we are developing here a digital twin, which is basically built as a 3D digital environment where urban areas can be explored, analyzed, and discussed in an intuitive and visual way. So here you can see just a small screenshot of one of the implementations. Of course, the project is still halfway, so we don't have very many integrations there. But if we go to the next slide, we can speak a little bit about the challenges there. So I didn't specify a lot of digital tools, but of course, digital twins, they include a lot of technologies. So from IoT, from some JS data, and so forth. In our case, for GreenInCities project, we are, of course, focusing on inclusivity, on integration of human and non-human perspectives. And of course, in our project, especially, we actually focus on the non-humans, in some pilots even specifically. So we try to combine some biodiversity data, climate simulation, citizens' inputs, and also try to represent it in an open, accessible 3D environment. So then, of course, the users can manipulate it and discuss it and use it as a workshop kind of environment. And one key challenge that I wrote, of course, is the interoperability. Some tools, of course, for developing digital twins have more flexible or less flexible way. So integrating from such huge projects, a lot of tools from different partners, of course, poses challenges. That would be maybe the one key challenge that we're facing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lina. Okay, and also Lina will be in a breakout room. Everybody here speaking, they will be in a different breakout room. I think you're in technology, Lina?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I should have written down. Okay, thank you so much. Super interesting. Okay, Dirk, are you here to pass over for speaking on behalf of ClimaGen?
I am. I hope you can hear me.
Super. Yep, perfect.
Good,
Thank you so much.
wonderful. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Dirk. I'm working at NTNU in Trondheim in Norway. And this is the ClimaGen project, one of the many projects running under this cluster. ClimaGen is trying to aim for urban greening and renaturing to promote climate resilient regeneration in European cities with and for vulnerable communities. We have 9 cities in very different setups where we try to do urban renewal together with interventions around urban parks, around brownfield industrial development. So you see the very different maps here on the side. Some rural urban connections, some old train tracks, some existing living areas within the cities. So a very broad range where we try to do greening in a smart way that does that follows the 4 strategies and aims on the right side. So climate mitigation and climate neutrality, climate adaptation and resilience, because we know what is coming. So whatever we do now needs to take this also well into account. Through measures of regreening and biodiversity, mostly for public green spaces, because that's where within the project the cities have a mandate. We are trying to broaden this out also to other areas and buildings as far as possible. And we are doing this under European Bauhaus principles. That means co-creation, quality of life in these neighborhoods, and the European Bauhaus with values of beauty, sustainability, inclusivity. We are including that also in many of our other projects. So a lot of things that the previous presenters already are aiming for. So if you can go to the next slide. I put digital tools a bit in brackets because we are doing a lot all across. We are starting from what the cities individually already have, what is available there. We try to focus then together with these principles on open innovation, open ecosystems of local communities and stakeholders to have the distribution of responsibilities. We don't have the one data platform for the project as a whole, but we try to support individually what the cities are doing and then get insights out of that to see how we can learn from that and scale. We do a lot regarding baselines and planning to see what sort of interventions are possible in the short time frames of projects like this, and use that as the basis for the local planning for co-creation in all different manners. There's like a lot of different parts down here that I've put in here in terms of digital tools. A lot revolves around the existing GIS systems and data that the cities already have, and also trying to find new uses of the data that might already be hidden in there. So we don't have to do a lot of new things, new data collection for everything, but we try to use a lot what's there and find targeted ways where we need maybe some additional insights to help with the planning, with interesting visualizations. To basically bring these ideas, greening and biodiversity into communities, but really with the underlying part of both the climate mitigation and the adaptation. And doing all of that together is not super easy. So finding ways to include all these principles in the planning process and in the participation process, but then also on the challenge side. So, well, basically, this is a question to everyone else also for later then, like what experience do you have to do things like this in practice and how to really cover all these aspects? We have a lot of individual bits and pieces that cover 1 or 2, but doing all of them at once is quite difficult. Also organizationally to get all the right stakeholders together, the technical ones and the community ones. So this is something we are working on at the moment, and you can find more information down there on our website.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dirk. And you'll find Dirk in the place breakout room after this as well, so you can ask some more questions. Moving on, do we have Harris talking on behalf of Commit to Green?
Yes. Can you hear me, everyone? Hello.
Perfectly well.
Yes, greetings. Greetings from the Geneva International Congress Center, this charming building from the late 60s behind me. maybe a side note, there's an international forum here, international collaboration, human-centered approaches. And I have to say there's a lot of pressure. What I heard today here, a lot of pressure to foster towards projects that are characterized with inclusivity and participation and inclusion, the ones that we discussed today. So I think in these times, these projects that we do become more and more important. So we don't want it to be dramatic, but I'm just was here immersed the whole day in discussing how funding is evaporating out of these projects. But in order to be prepared for the future, to also embrace digital tools and innovation, I'm happy to say a few words about how we did within Committed to Green. It's another Horizon project that deals with the regeneration and regreening of 8 sites in 8 European cities, from Milan to Baile in Denmark, and Thessaloniki to the south, and Sarajevo to southeast. And to make it simple, we do use a range of tools, but decided to present only one to you today. And this is Urbanist AI. I hope that this tool, and we are slowly falling in love with it. It's developed by a very international team from Finland, Italy, and being used in Swiss cities. So again, European collaboration is shown to be effective. It's a tool that you can look it up online, Urbanist AI. It visualizes real-world impact of sometimes very abstract policies, governance that is not digestible for every citizen. Not every citizen can read GIS plans or AutoCAD floor plans and blueprints. So in this sense, here you have a tool that helps visualize before or after scenarios, and it's very easy to use. So in this sense, it can be used by experts, but of course by as public and other stakeholders. And of course, as you see here, highly AI driven. And whoever is old enough to remember the Lasso tool and the other traumatic experiences from old versions of Photoshop, etc., this makes it all obsolete. And in this sense, it makes it a very interesting and fast-paced tool. Maybe move to the second slide. A few elements of what are the pros and cons. Let's be very critical also as well. It is a generative AI platform. It uses text to image technology, so typical we use today in AI tools. So it's easy to prompt, and in this sense becomes this bridge between experts and citizens, and it's very rapid. So there's different scenarios you can rapidly prototype, different design variations. It has a web-based interface, so easy to use, quite easy to use. And creates three-dimensional, sometimes hyper-realistic spaces. And this is also its biggest challenge. So these images, they look so hyper-realistic, as I mentioned, beautiful. So it's very difficult to build them. And it can really create false expectations. It can create frustration among residents and stakeholders because, also in Commit to Green, we do have a small budgets, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 for pilot implementations in cities. But that's very often not enough to construct, to build this a vision that's being generated by AI. So in this sense, we have to be very careful to overpromise and also manage expectations. With that, I give back the word to the moderator. And one last point, my colleague Svetlana, a dear colleague from our consortium, is going to stay for the breakout rooms. I unfortunately have to leave. So any other inputs, questions, feedback, please direct it to Svetlana, and happy to continue the conversations. And now back to you, Lars.
Fantastic! Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, Svetlana will be in the place breakout room. And Harris, have a good afternoon. All the best to you. Moving on, we have Tecnológico de Monterrey. So I think for this we have Susanna. Are you here, Susanna?
Hello, yeah, very nice to be here.
Brilliant, nice to meet you.
You too. It's exciting. The whole project was with the Fab City Foundation. We participated as part of the Fab City Challenge. And I think I can sum it up better in this 1-minute video, and then we can talk about the digital tool if you want.
Okay, sure. I'll take it away. Hopefully the sound.
As residents of a particular place, there needs to be a meaningful connection with the non-human elements that surround us. And I feel like that has been lost over the years, and it seems to be a divide that is growing quite rapidly. We're more and more disconnected from non-human elements.
I really like the idea of mobile because it is a distributed micro-museum that travels to different city areas, curated by local communities, engaging, educating, and experimenting with them.
There's a lot of theory on how to fix everything, but at the end of the day, you can't do it if people don't agree with it. So I think that taking the educational route is very important.
It serves as a meeting point, as different field excursions with the various associations and groups. And at the same time, each location features a landscape cutout, offering visitors unique mountain views and fostering a connection with nature.
Biodiversity helps people live better lives, and they should be more educated about it so that we can make our cities even better.
Fantastic. Cool.
Thank you, Lars.
Should I move on to your second slide?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay. So the digital tools we implemented in this experience, which was firstly a challenge with an international team working in Mexico and working with local teams, was showcasing a little bit of the expertise of the international team that was joining us and playing on the particular expertise of the local groups with the ability for them to continue this formation in the digital and technological elements that we were seeing. So the first part was censored digital file generators, things that we could use to document the biodiversity around us. How can we showcase what's outside the city, the nature that we know, and that as groups that we've worked closely in this environment want to bring into the city and to create this consciousness. We used a lot of what the Fab City Foundation is famous for in terms of development, microcontrollers, 3D printers, digital fabrication. And the main part here is we created a physical element that which is our micro museum, that includes digital tools to sort of create this window from the city, which Monterrey is a very industrial, technologically based city, but in allowing us to go into nature and understand elements that we can't even see, like air quality, microscopic elements in the water, for example, and how can we use these digital tools as bridges to learn more about how the ecosystem is reacting to the industry itself. So the inclusivity element is this translation and how the digital tool becomes this magnifying glass into nature, into the microscopic, into non-visible elements. And the key challenges, which are similar to ones that were already mentioned, is this identified gap, maybe in the scientific language, maybe in the time required to travel and a little bit outside the city and recognize that we, as a part of nature, are coexisting with it. Also in these, in the part of the digital, more industry focused instead of being more community focused. And we aim to challenge these through participating in the co-creation with the communities themselves. There were 4 groups focusing on animals, microscopic elements, landscape, and air quality. And in these, we were able to develop a strategy for this not to be one experience that applied a digital tool, but it to be a formation experience that could empower a community and let them use these digital tools in the future. So thank you. Very excited to talk more.
Fantastic. And thank you for joining from Mexico as well. It's really nice to have a more global perspective because I know quite often we speak as Europeans, but I think it's really nice to have different perspectives today. So thank you so much for joining. And you mentioned the Fab City Challenge. If anybody wants to know more, I can share after this. But in general, it's a unique format of collaboration and it brings together local and global innovation communities to propose meaningful outcomes that respond to kind of urgent areas of different interventions in different cities or regions. So they form these teams and challenge together. So I'm really excited to see how this evolves. Thank you so much for joining us. You will also be let me have a look. You're in the inhabitants breakout room later, so you'll have a chance to speak more to Susanna then. So Thank you again. Moving forward, let's see, it's a surprise. URBREATH. Okay. Giuseppe, oh yeah, wonderful.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Giuseppe Ciulla. I work for Engineering Informatica, and of course I'm representing the URBREATH project with 37 partners coordinated by the Lisbon Council. The project focuses on 4 climatic zones in Europe, from Boreal, Atlantic, Continental, and Mediterranean, and we are leveraging the presence of 4 frontrunner cities and 5 follower cities. And in this project, we are experimenting and co-designing digital tools not only to support the urban planning, but also to give the opportunity to involve local stakeholders in this urban planning, activating an active involvement of the local stakeholders in understanding the planning of nature-based solution to face climate change in our cities, but also to monitor and evaluate these results. This includes also tools that give us the chance to perform ex-ante impact assessment, but also monitoring the concrete effects generated by nature-based solution in our pilot sites. In this picture, we can see a very small slice of our technological solution that includes a participatory solution that is available both on the web and on mobile. The web part is based on open source tools, in particular Decidim, that has been extended with the new feature capabilities, just out the possibility to integrate digital tool representation as part of participatory process, and in particular as part of this digital twin implementation provided by Virtual City System, a partner of our project. We had the chance to implement a narrative of nature-based solutions in intervention that are leveraging these digital twins capabilities. If we can move to the next slide. So just very briefly, the aim of URBREATH is to provide a set of, is a toolbox in the end, and to integrate the outcomes of these tools into the participatory tool in the such as Decidim as mentioned, in order to make them available to the vast majority of local stakeholders, simplify the way to access this information. Indeed, the phase that we are, the challenges that we are mainly facing is to understand how to make this content available for local stakeholders, not only in terms of features, capabilities of our tools as ability to expose this information, but also to make them understandable and to engage them in sort of data-driven urban planning and participatory process.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Super interesting. And as a breakout room, you are going to be in the tech breakout room later. So you have another chance to talk to Giuseppe then. Giuseppe, sorry. Okay, moving on. We are going to Carlos. Carlos, are you in the house for ReGreeneration?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Fantastic. Good afternoon. Take it away. Let me know when to change slides.
Okay, I promise to be quickly. Okay, let's introduce a little bit about the project. I would say this project is actually more than a digital twin. It's really big. We have a few cities, small cities and big cities like Paris and Segurate, Alverca, Portugal. And the aim of the project is actually not only show indicator, but also normalize it. Like one of the aspect that we have to work more on the project is with the cities to find this indicator. I mean, not only to bring you some that already exist, but to find ones that will be useful from the citizen that are in the big cities, but like they have the opportunity to cities that is small, like in Alverca in Portugal is a small city, and they share the same indicators that they have identified in the other larger cities like in Paris and Barcelona. One is of the main aspect of the project that we have worked on before. Right now, we are developing this tool that it's boundary to one city, but we have the concept that 50-minute walk, which is the intervention that the city is planning. maybe in a 15-minute walk for where we're living. So you can, all the people, this platform are very open to all the devices. You can access to any platform that you have, including VR. So it's very easy to access if you don't know, not familiar with any technology. Even a child can use the platform and see what's going on around the neighborhood. What we are doing now is you can go to the next. Okay, thank you. Then digital twin. We are aiming to have the citizen participation. So we are focused to develop a very easy interface. So the cities can communicate all these KPIs that we are going the normalizing. That's one of the focus of the project, normalizing KPIs. So the data that the cities have, that normally cities don't have the same data from same KPIs. Let's say the lines, the cycle lines, or the green space that they have, the data they collect may not have the same normalized, so you can ingest it in the platform. So we aiming also to have a like normalize it for all the cities, so they can share data each other. You can ingest it in the platform in very simple way. And finally, one of the aspects that we are struggling with more with the project is align the collaboration with all the cities. It's really hard to have every administration to collaborate and make it every aspect very clear. I think that's it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, so now is the time for breakout rooms. Thank you, everybody that presented. Please remember, all of the audience, this is for you to take an active role. There are no wrong answers. There's nothing worse than silence in a breakout room, so make sure that we are giving ideas and being active in that. There are 3 breakout rooms: technology, inhabitants, and place. So technology will be around digital twins, looking at inclusive tools, regenerative tools, citizen science. Inhabitants will be around the inclusion of both human and non-human, accessibility and trust, and place will be around city challenges, local contexts, ecosystems, and monitoring. So overall accessibility of place. So then we come back and we summarize what we've learnt. If I stop sharing, I think Josefina is the boss of the breakout rooms. So thank you so much, everybody. I've been spying, jumping in and out of different breakout rooms, looking at the middle, seeing what's going on, and there was a lovely flow in all of them. So I really, truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you will have some takeaways. I'm going to share my screen so we can just quickly review the top 5 from each, so that you have a feeling that you know what has been going on in the other rooms. But also gather the findings of today into some form of output from this webinar, which we'll share with you as well. But for now, I'm going to share here. Can you see my screen if I present? Okay, perfect. So we have Group Technology. Who is your spokesperson for your top 5 takeaways today? Somebody from Group Technology.
Should I do it or Giuseppe wants to? I don't know.
Please, please.
Yeah, so just very quickly, this is the 5 topics we discussed from our conversation. So the first one, and the very first one actually was even mentioned in the very beginning in our room, was the inclusivity and understandability. So basically, being able to include different social groups, different participants, stakeholders, and so on, and understanding different level of technological readiness and so forth. Maybe someone wants to add something after, then feel free. Then the second one was the replicability and scalability. This also includes the technological readiness, so being able to reuse the tools that we have. The third part was about the traceability and seeing value, so it's more related to the motivation of the participants, so they are not feeling like they're just participating and don't see any feedback, any real value for what reason they were participating and using the tool. The fourth part was about the motivations, but in the way how we could improve or increase the motivation. So, for example, some tools were mentioned, such as gamification, and also even some economical incentives were mentioned in the discussions. And finally, about the support from policymakers, municipality support, and of course, data access and the security. So if we have the support, we can also make better tools, and also the users, the different social groups can be more inclined to use the tools. So if
Fantastic.
anyone wants to add something, please.
Super, that's brilliant. And again, the challenge was barriers to designing and implementing digital tools to boost societal readiness. So thank you. That's really interesting takeaways from technology. And also you will have access to this middle board afterwards if you want to see the process of each group. I want to make sure that we're on time. I don't take any extra time. We've got 6 minutes. We're all good. Okay, inhabitants. The challenge was urban biodiversity loss with low citizen engagement and trust. So I need one of the inhabitants groups, please, to tell me your top 5 takeaways. Shout now or forever hold your peace. Somebody from inhabitants group. Anybody? Going once, going twice?
Okay, me.
Thank you, Carlos. You saved me there.
Okay, so we define from this topic, one of the most important things is that the people don't have awareness of what's going on. So sometimes you have an initiative having to block from home, you simply don't know it. It's one of the important things that we raise in this workshop. Then we also see that somehow the initiatives and the project have to self-sustaining. I mean, don't depend totally from the authorities. The community can be involved, and somehow it can not depend from the administration that may change from a year for another. Other topic is co-designing, the participative from now everyone from the neighbor. It's important so they can feel they are part of the project. Also include different social groups with different perspectives. Some group may have a different perspective, from a park or for urban garden. So from other people, and then finally, define responsibility. It's linked to the self-sustaining, but define responsibility. So this project don't go to limbo, and the people can know if the authorities and take control or handle thing, or the society and some group is one of the other topics.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so these takeaways are going to be forming the key topics of the next webinars. This is going to be running in a series. So thank you so much for designing the future here of our next webinars. Over to place, we've got technological limitations in collecting consistent and representative data across cities. I know this is a common project that happens often. So let's hear from the place group. What are your top 5 takeaways or 4 takeaways in regards to this? Have a volunteer to share these.
I mean, yeah, if you don't mind, the people being in a breakout room, so feel free to add. I could just briefly discuss the main points we talk about. So it's maybe super basic, and I think which been mentioned a lot. It's the data availability, data quality, especially if you're doing the research across multiple case studies. It's also data transferability and data access and so on. So then we have the issue and next takeaways right tools for the right problems and the data and the tool integration. So basically here, I think the key point is sometimes we're creating super complex technological tools, which we do not have the perfect control of, sort of the black box. And we need to be critical about what we'll have as an output. And yeah, Also, another point, it's like the availability of the spaces and moments of exchange. So like create space for the people to integrate. So sort of like issue with the co-creation from my perspective. And also following to third issue is like the fourth one. It's like meet people where they actually are and where they live and where they experience the city and, I don't know, places in the city. So not expect that the people will come to you and do whatever you want, but like go there and and interact with them. And I see that there's like something happening more, like like space, if someone wants to add to that.
Super. Thank you so much. I really liked how you finished it there, meeting people where they are and where they actually live. I think it's a really important summary of every different perspective here. I want to thank all of you for your determination through the breakout rooms, from the presentations, for all the effort that you brought forth today. I'm really excited to form some outputs from this and to be in contact with you all to continue these kind of collaborations. So thank you so much. And it's 5:30 now on the dot, Central European time, so I don't want to take any more of your time. And I just want to say a very big thank you, and I hope to see you in the next webinars and that you enjoyed your time today. And that's it from me, I think. All the best. Have a wonderful Thursday evening.